The last paragraph of the academic essay is the conclusion. In this video, we will look at the essay conclusion. We'll consider the characteristics of a good conclusion. We'll study the structure and components that you need to use in a good conclusion, and then we'll learn how to write it together. At the end, there will be guidelines for revising, editing, and proofreading. Make sure that once in a while you pause and take notes. If you need to navigate around, use the time-stamped outline in the description of the video. And remember, you need to come back to review and reinforce what you've learned. Let's start with the basics. The conclusion is the last paragraph of the essay, and the purpose of the conclusion is to lead your readers out of the word of your essay. So, like the introduction, it should be easy to understand and pleasant to read. In the conclusion, you go back to general ideas related to the main idea of the essay. You never introduce new ideas. You never contain any details in your conclusion. Your conclusion should match the thesis statement and the points in the main body. And in the conclusion, you summarize the main points logically, which means in the same order that you have in the body and body paragraphs. Also, you may comment on implications or offer predictions for future development. Usually you do this when you're collecting data and analyzing data. And also remember that the focus or stance expressed in the conclusion should be consistent with that in the rest of the essay. Which means, for example, if you're arguing for something and you are in favor of something, in your conclusion cannot just shift your perspective and be against something and disagree with something. There are three main components in the conclusion. You have a restatement of thesis at the beginning, just one sentence, which is a paraphrase of your thesis statement. Then you have a summary of your key points. These are the points that you have discussed in several body paragraphs. And here in your conclusion, you give a summary of those points. And then you have a final comment, which is your last chance to have an impact on your readers. And you're helping your readers in this sentence to remember your argument or act on it or think about it. Writing all these components is absolutely easy because you're not adding anything new and you're simply using the materials that you have in your essay and you're just repeating, paraphrasing, and summarizing everything. For the restatement of thesis, all you have to do is you go to the end of your introduction, you read your thesis statement very carefully, and you paraphrase it. You express the same idea in other words. And when you write this sentence, you compare it to your thesis statement. You absolutely make sure that you haven't changed any idea, anything in the whole message. Then you have the summary of your key points. This is the largest part of your conclusion. For this one, you read the topic sentences of your body paragraphs carefully. You remember the topic sentences in the body paragraphs express the main idea discussed in those body paragraphs. So you read them and you paraphrase them in the same order. You paraphrase the first topic sentence and the second topic sentence after that, so on and so forth. That is, you express the same ideas in other words. And again, like the restatement of thesis, compare these summaries to the topic sentences that you have in your body. Make sure you haven't changed anything in any way. And finally, you add one sentence of final comment. You can have a variety of different things here. Remember, like the hook at the beginning of the essay, the final comment is also a tool for the reader. It is there in order to keep your reader thinking or involved, or perhaps even you're asking your readers to do something. So these are some suggestions. It is possible to have other ways of giving a final comment, but these are the most common ways of finishing a conclusion academically. You can highlight one of your points. For example, if you have argumentation and you have a number of reasons, you can highlight one of the reasons that you had in the essay. You can stress the relevance of your main idea. Remember that the main idea that we choose should be relevant to the larger part of the society. And you can just stress that what you've talked about, the information you have given, the conclusions you've come to, they're all relevant to your audience. You can emphasize the significance of your main idea. Somehow you're saying that this main idea is really important. We need to discuss it. You can give an appropriate, relevant warning, not all the time, but sometimes. For example, if you're discussing a problem and recommending a number of solutions to the problem, perhaps you can give a warning at the end saying, we need to solve this problem. Otherwise, for example, people may lose their lives. If you have any data collection, data analysis, on the basis of data, you can make a prediction. You can say something about the future. You can encourage applications of your conclusions. For example, again, if you're recommending a number of solutions, you may ask your audience to implement the solutions. And also you can call your audience to action. Depending on the main idea and the topic, you may ask them to educate other people or continue thinking about or acquiring information about your topic, or perhaps even sign a petition, get online and do something, recycle. For example, contact a member of the parliament and complain about something. There are a variety of different things that you can ask your audience to get involved in, depending on what the message, what the idea in your essay is. Finally, when you finish, it's a good idea to pause and read. These are the questions that will help you fix your conclusion in the best way possible. Is the paragraph within the word limit? Again, check the word limit. You know, we always have a word limit when we write academically. Have you included all the components? Do you have a restatement of thesis at the beginning? Do you have a summary of the key points? Do you have a final comment? And are they in the right order and size? So the thesis restatement should be first, then you have the summary, and then you have your final comment. The first and last component are just one sentence, and then you have your summary, which is a little bit larger depending on how many topic sentences you have in the body. Are all the ideas consistent with the essay main idea? You shouldn't change direction. Are the ideas in the paragraph logically connected? Again, everything that you mention in any paragraph should be logically connected to whatever comes before and after. Have you expressed all the ideas clearly and concisely? You remember that expressing everything in few words but clearly is one of the main features of academic writing. And is your language style appropriate and to the point? Are you avoiding personal language? Are you avoiding informal language and cliches? Are you following the guidelines that we have for academic writing? In this video, we looked at the final paragraph in the essay, the conclusion. Make sure that you watch the video again if you need to, and of course, put your ideas into practice. Remember, it is by writing that you learn how to write. In the next video, we're going to look at the final 2 steps of the academic process: revising, editing, and proofreading.